In today's episode, I'm going to talk about how to know what content to put into your course and how to know if you have enough. This is one of the biggest questions I get from course creators when they're trying to decide, do they have enough content to put into a course, and how do they know what content to put into their course? What I recommend is by understanding your course outcome and by really figuring out exactly what you're going to offer in your course, and I'll link a couple videos below on how to do that. You really need to know your course outcome. So what I mean by this is exactly what your students are going to get when they take your course. So if it's how to learn how to do a Facebook ad, how to train your dog in 2 weeks to go to the bathroom outside, how to paint your walls, whatever you decide your course outcome is, and that's based on a whole different formula. Again, I'll link to that below in a different video. Then that is what you need to put into your course. You need to put everything into the content of this course that gets your student to that outcome. So if you are creating a course on how to do a Facebook ad, then you need to put everything into the course starting from where they are right now. So maybe this is a course for beginners and they really have to go from the very beginning. So it could be how to do Facebook ads for beginners, or it could be how to do Facebook ads for more advanced. So again, see the difference, and it really will depend, because if you're doing a course on Facebook ads for beginners, you're really going to start off at the very beginning, putting a lot more information in. If they're more advanced, then you probably could skip a few of the steps, maybe a few of the modules, and still get the great outcome because they're not beginners. So you need to put as much content as it takes to get your students to the finish line or to that outcome, and no more and no less. The last thing we want to do is overwhelm and put too much content, and this is what I see a lot. Putting way too much content will just overwhelm your students, and it doesn't help. You think that by giving them more, you're just helping and nourishing, but all you're doing is overwhelming them. And we need to get them to one small outcome and one small transformation so they can say, wow, this really worked. And I did it. I got it. I can do the Facebook ad. I lost the 10 pounds. My dog is trained. And then they can move on with you in a different capacity if there's a part 2, or if you have more coaching or other programs that go along with it. Now that you understand what needs to go in, the next step is pulling that content out of your head and putting it down into what I call the hard outline for your course. So this is where you have to decide, okay, what are the steps that I need to put in here to get them to losing the 10 pounds or creating the Facebook ad? Okay, step 1 is going to be this. Step 2 is this. Step 3 is this. And it could be different. You know, you may teach how to lose 10 pounds in a much different way than someone else. And you might teach how to do your Facebook ads in a different order, a different way than someone else. So there's no right or wrong way. This is how you do it, how you've been working with clients, how you've done this yourself, or how you know this process works. This is the part that I call getting the process out of your head and onto the paper. This is where you need to really look, and it may take some revising. A really good trick that I do is my walking exercise, where I really stand and I go, okay, what is going to be the very first step? And I really take a step forward. What is the second step that they need to know? And I take another step. So you can use this method, and I use little sticky notes and write on the sticky notes as I move. And then if you go, oh, but wait a minute, I think back up 1 minute, there might be another step before this. And I find that's one of the best ways to get the initial outline done, and then you can go back and flesh out each step with little topics and little sub steps underneath it, which becomes your hard outline. So this is the way to go from where they are right now. Think about your clients, think about where they are in the process, and then think about that finish line, that outcome. You are going to get them to losing those 10 pounds. How do you do this? And you need to put the amount of content and the amount of steps that it takes to get them from point A to point B. So if someone's telling you you must have 5 modules or 8 modules in your course, That's not necessarily true. It depends. I can't say how many modules you'll need because I don't know your process and I don't know how many steps it's going to take to get from point A to point B. I will say as a caveat, you would, probably don't want 25 steps because it's going to be pretty overwhelming for anyone who's taking your course if they come in and see that you have 25 steps and 250 pages. If it's that big of a process, you may want to break that down into 2 courses and do something like the first part and then do the second part if it's that much information. But perhaps not. It really just depends on who your student is, how committed they are. If this is a how to create an online business, that could easily be 25 modules and 25 steps. That's a huge, robust course. I don't know that anyone would want to do it that way. I would prefer to chunk it down in little pieces by topics. But you could, if you're doing a real comprehensive course, it could be longer. But as a rule of thumb, you don't really want to go over, I don't even want to give a number, not too many modules, because if I say don't go over 8 or something, then someone's going to say, I have 9, is that okay? So again, it is okay. Just keep your student in mind. Keep in mind what you're trying to do. Is this really important and transformative? Are they going to stick with you through 12 modules or 8 modules or 9 modules? If you can keep it on the smaller, the better, but don't skimp. You need to put what you need to put in there to get them to the finish line, to get them to their goal, and then you will have an amazing, stellar course. Okay, so for more information about these steps, check my links below. I did link the other video on how to get started in the beginning steps. If you would like to hear all of my steps on how to put a whole course together with my 6 steps, you can join my free masterclass. I'll link that below. And if you like what I'm saying here in the videos, and if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will bring you weekly trainings on creating and selling an online course so that you can create passive income and impact in the world and really make a difference with your business. Okay, until next time, bye-bye.